Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered, why am I here? Why was I created? You're not alone. From the beginning of time, humanity has asked this profound question. The Bible tells us that each of us was created for a unique purpose, woven into God's perfect plan. But what does that really mean? Stay tuned, because in this video, we're diving into this life-changing truth and discovering how God's plan for your life is far greater than you can imagine. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more inspirational content like this. In Genesis 1 verses 26 to 27, we read that God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness." You were designed in the image of the Creator Himself, with intentionality and purpose. In a world where you may feel lost or insignificant, remember this: you are no accident. God's blueprint for you is intricate, purposeful, and good. Historically, this message was revolutionary. Ancient cultures often believed people existed solely to serve the whims of gods or kings. But the Bible revealed a radical truth. Humans were created to reflect God's character and steward His creation with love and care. Genesis 3 recounts humanity's fall into sin. Adam and Eve's disobedience disrupted God's perfect plan, bringing brokenness into the world. But here's the good news: God never abandoned His purpose for us. Romans 5 verse 8 reminds us, "But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." Through Jesus' sacrifice, the path to redemption and restoration was paved. Even when we stray, God's purpose for our lives remains steadfast. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 is one of the most quoted scriptures. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This verse was written during a dark time in Israel's history when they were exiled in Babylon. Even then, God reassured them of His good plans. The same applies to you today. Your gifts, experiences, and even your struggles are all part of God's divine story. You were created with a purpose that only you can fulfill. But how do you align with God's purpose? Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 gives us the key. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." When you trust God, seek Him in prayer, and follow His word, He guides you step by step. Purpose is not about striving for perfection but walking in faith. Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Your life is like a single thread in a grand tapestry. Sometimes we only see the knots and tangles, but God sees the beautiful masterpiece. You are part of His bigger story, a story of redemption, love, and eternal purpose. Now is the time to step into your God-given purpose. Maybe it's reaching out to someone in need, pursuing a passion that honors God, or simply trusting Him more each day. Remember, you are here for a reason, and God's plan for you is perfect. In Ephesians 2 verse 10, Paul writes, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." You were made to make an impact. Sometimes, we ask, how can pain and trials fit into God's purpose? But the Bible is filled with stories of people who discovered their purpose through pain and uncomfortable situations which ended up to be God's plan for their lives. Consider the story of Joseph in Genesis 37 to 50. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and falsely imprisoned, Joseph could have easily given up. But through his trials, God positioned him to save nations during a famine. Take Moses, who thought he was unworthy but was chosen to lead Israel out of Egypt, Exodus 3 verse 10. Or Esther, who risked her life to save her people, proving that God's purpose can place you exactly where you need to be, Esther 4 verse 14. David was a shepherd boy, overlooked by others, yet God saw a king in him, 1 Samuel 16 verse 7. These examples remind us that no matter your background, God can use you in extraordinary ways. In all this, know that your challenges may be preparing you for a greater purpose, shaping your character, and aligning you with God's perfect plan. Many of us wrestle with doubt. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? Even great heroes of faith felt this way. Jeremiah said he was too young, Jeremiah 1 verse 6, and Gideon doubted his strength, Judges 6 verse 15. But God's response was always the same: I will be with you. When you focus on God instead of your limitations, you'll find the strength to fulfill your purpose. Trust that God equips those He calls. God may not reveal the entire plan to you at once, but each step of faith draws you closer to your purpose. As we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought. Your life has meaning because God gave it to you. Trust His plan, walk in faith, and embrace the purpose He created you for. You are not here by chance. God's perfect plan includes you. Take the next step, trust Him, and embrace the incredible purpose for which you were created. If this message has encouraged you, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more faith-filled content. Let's journey together in discovering God's perfect plan.